Good morning. It's day 2 of 35. And I want to ask you something before we get into anything else. I want you to actually sit with it rather than just answer it fast. When was the last time you were genuinely uncomfortable? Let me think about that. Let me ask it again. When was the last time you were genuinely uncomfortable? Not inconvenienced, not annoyed, not stressed about getting things done or logistics. I mean, structurally, truly, at the core, uncomfortable. Where something inside you was being asked to move that did not want to move. Because I think most of us, if we're honest, have built our lives around the management of discomfort. We've become extraordinarily sophisticated engineers of our own comfort. And we've confused that engineering with being okay. We've confused it with being free, with being whole. And so I want to take the next few minutes and dismantle that gently, but I want to take it apart completely. Comfortable and free are not the same thing. In fact, in my experience, both my own and sitting with hundreds of people in this work over the last few years, these are often opposites. The most imprisoned people, the most shackled, the most bound up people I have ever known have been comfortable, skillfully comfortable. I mean, almost chronically and profoundly comfortable. Everything's great. They have organized every relationship, every routine, every expectation around the maintenance of a particular feeling. And that is the feeling of not feeling threatened, not feeling at all, not being challenged, not being asked to become something that they aren't yet. And from the outside, their lives look extremely stable. I mean, honestly, probably together, even the epitome of what a life should be. But from the inside, they're slowly disappearing. Because here's what comfort costs when it becomes the primary goal. It costs you your actual life. The one that lives just on the other side of the discomfort, the life that is true, the life is there. But it costs you the real life that's sitting over there that you've been so carefully avoiding by trying to avoid the discomfort. Now, I'm not talking about suffering for suffering's sake. I have an anthropological and theological idea on how we should view that also. I'm not talking about chaos or disruption, and I'm certainly not saying burn everything down and call it transformation. That's not change. That's not growth. That's not life. I'm talking about the specific productive discomfort that lives at every real threshold, the kind that really says something here needs to change. Something here is ready for what? To grow. And what does growth do? Growth always changes. But growth always requires movement. And it requires movement into spaces and territories and fields that are not familiar. And because of that, they're not comfortable. There's no discomfort anywhere in your life. You are not safe. You are still. And if you are still in this way, I believe you're dead. I was comfortable for many, many years, deeply, expertly comfortable. I learned to put on the air of mastery, thinking that it was the continuity of who I was, an expression of the structure that I'd built around me for visibility. I had an entire life, a career, a role, an identity, all of that was optimized around one thing: not feeling what I was actually feeling. I was pastor, right? The one with the answers, leader. father, husband, etc. The one who held the room. And as long as I was holding the room, I didn't have to sit in my own. And I was very good at it. And that's the thing about this kind of comfort. The more skilled you are, the more invisible it is to everyone, including yourself. And then the structure started falling and the comfort stopped working. And I ended up in the most uncomfortable place I had ever been, sitting with the full weight of a life that looked like mine but didn't feel like mine. No performance to retreat into, no script to pick up and go, oh, I'm back in the role. No role to hide behind. In March of 2023, the most uncomfortable I have ever been in my entire life, I found it. The only thing that got me through it, the only thing, was stopping trying to get comfortable again. I stopped trying to fix the feeling. I stopped lying to myself about what I was thinking and what I really felt. Stopped trying to manage my way back to a version of a life that my comfort systems could run on. And starting, instead, to get curious about what that discomfort was pointing at. See, that was the beginning of freedom. Not the end of discomfort, the beginning of my relationship with it. And the work that I do, the framework that I've built over years of my own journey and thousands of hours with people in this work, there is a progression, 6 stages of what I call autonomy. And I've not talked about this with even my partners. This is fresh. This is new. You're seeing it for the first time. And this very first stage is called comfortable. Not because comfort is the goal, but because comfort is where most people are living when they find this work. Comfortable is the entry point. It's the place you're standing when you first look up and realize something is missing. And the movement out of comfortable into the next stage, which is curiosity, that movement is only possible when you stop treating your discomfort as a problem to solve and start embracing it as a signal, as something to follow, as something to listen to. A signal that points towards something in you that is ready, that has been ready, maybe for years, to come into the light. Most people spend their entire lives managing the signal instead of following it. They medicate it, they distract it, they perform around it, they pray through it, building more sophisticated comfort structures on top of it. And every year that passes, the signal gets a little harder to hear, a little softer. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anyone sitting with me this morning. Now, Hall moment, Hall. Yesterday, I introduced it to you. In a structural way, it stands for Honesty Aligns Liberations Language. There's deeper things in my frameworks that's academic and boring. But here's how it connects to what we're talking about today. The Hall moment almost always lives inside their discomfort that we've been trying to avoid. That's where the door is, not the other side of comfort, right in the middle of the thing that feels like a threat, that feels unresolved, that feels uncertain, that feels dangerous. The moment you stop trying to get away from the discomfort and you get really honest, genuinely, specifically honest about what it's telling you, that is when the language of liberation begins to form inside of you. That is when you get a lexicon for your own life. That's when you stop the mimicry of everything that everybody's always taught you to know and understand, and you start defining terms on your own. That is when you start to hear, maybe for the first time, the actual voice of who you are underneath everything you've been performing. That voice has been trying to reach you. It's been sending signals. The discomfort is the signal. The question is never, how do I stop feeling this? The question is, what is this feeling trying to show me? So here's your invitation for today. Just one thing. Find somewhere quiet, even 5 minutes, and ask yourself honestly, Where in my life am I choosing comfort over being alive? Where am I maintaining a structure, a habit, a dynamic, a way of being? Not because it's serving me, but because disrupting it would be uncomfortable. Don't try to fix it. Don't make any decisions, not today. Just see it, just witness it clearly without judgment, because you cannot walk toward freedom in a direction you cannot see. And seeing clearly, honestly, without the management, without the performance, that is always the first step. So day 2, you showed up. Don't underestimate that. A lot of people say they want to be free, and they've got a laundry list of what that means. They can quote a whole lot of stuff, but they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Very few people are willing to be uncomfortable on the way to freedom. And the fact that you're here 2 days in already tells me something about who you are. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the invisible agreements that most of us are living inside. Ones we never consciously made, never consciously signed, but have been honoring for years. And it's one of the most clarifying things I know how to teach, and I cannot wait to get into it with you. Be well. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Let's set